This is Steve Koleno, and this is Confidential Remarks. If you ask anyone what the hardest part of buying a house is, they usually point to the hunt, the actual task of finding a property that aligns with your surface level search filters. Making sure you are making the correct decision about that home remains the largest unsolved hazard in the market. This diagram illustrates the path the industry expects you to take or has opened up for you. Buyers spend time weighing market conditions, evaluating personal risk tolerance, and debating their long-term motivations. That complex web of data points accounts for the first 80% of the process. To navigate that complexity, buyers need an entirely different set of tools. They need to move away from search portals and adopt an independent real estate decision engine. Operating this kind of system is not about swiping through pretty kitchens. It introduces deliberate friction. It forces you to define strict constraints and confront the financial realities of ownership upfront. Using it means putting down the highly addictive search apps. You trade the comfort of casual browsing for the clarity of verified intelligence. The first phase of this operating system happens before you look at a single property. You have to build a complete consumer decision profile. This requires precise inputs. You have to specify your exact comfort level with financial risk, map out exactly how long you plan to stay in the home, and assign strict weights to lifestyle priorities like commute times and school districts. Once finalized, this profile acts as an emotionless, rigid filter. Every future property you consider will be pushed through this exact framework to see if it actually serves your baseline goals. The obvious trade-off here is that doing this work immediately kills the instant gratification of house hunting. There is no quick dopamine hit of finding a beautiful house on day one. Instead, it requires potentially contentious conversations with your spouse or family about long-term finances and strict trade-offs. It significantly delays the actual property search. But enduring that upfront friction serves a distinct purpose. By establishing rules before you ever see a property, you transition from an emotionally vulnerable buyer into a strategically protected investor. Once those rules are set, your relationship with traditional search portals changes. They no longer treat them as advisors. They simply become raw data feeds. Look at this comparison matrix. When you take a listing from a standard portal and feed it into the objective property intelligence layer, the engine evaluates it completely differently. The system strips away the professional photography and marketing descriptions. Instead, it calculates the true financial carry costs, analyzes negotiation leverage, and exposes hidden structural blind spots that traditional features obscure. The heavy trade-off in this phase is that objective data will frequently ruin a house you have already fallen in love with. It is frustrating to find an aesthetically pleasing property, run it through the intelligence layer, and realize you have to walk away because the underlying numbers do not align with your goals. Discarding that marketing spin to confront these financial realities is the only mathematical way to avoid purchasing a property with structural liabilities or hidden financial risks that would otherwise remain invisible. All of this analysis requires a guide, which brings us to the largest information asymmetry in real estate: how buyers actually select their representing agents. Phase 3 replaces billboards, friendly referrals, and self-promotion with cold data. This scorecard shows what advisor intelligence looks like. Agents are audited on measurable indicators like compliance records, historical transaction volume, and fee clarity rather than 5-star reviews. The system then algorithmically matches your strict consumer profile with an advisor whose verified history demonstrates proven expertise in handling your specific constraints. The social trade-off here can be uncomfortable. Relying on this data might mean you have to tell a charismatic friend or a family member that you will not be hiring them to handle your transaction. Leaning into that awkwardness is mandatory. You are making a massive financial commitment, and competent representation requires objective vetting, not a personal favor. Treating agent selection as a rigorous data audit rather than a local popularity contest changes the trajectory of your financial outcome. Traditional portals are not the enemy in this ecosystem. If they are the restaurant menu, the decision engine is the nutritionist, guiding you on exactly what to order. This decision tree maps out interaction based on intent. We have three paths: casual browsing, first-time buyer, and analytical investor. For first-time buyers and analytical investors, your path immediately routes through the decision engine for maximum guidance and strict data validation. The intense friction and delayed gratification you experience up front in this path is outweighed by the financial protection it provides against overpaying for the wrong property. If you are actively entering a transaction in today's market, routing your choices through this operating system is a mandatory safeguard. If you are simply looking for entertainment or casual browsing, your path bypasses the engine completely. The rigid structure and hard truths of the decision engine add unnecessary friction for someone years away from a move. You can stick to standard portals, but when the time comes to actually buy, you run into the central paradox of this framework. Accessing objective data does not make the real estate decision easier. It makes it grounded in reality. You have to consciously choose your priority. You can have the frictionless comfort of marketing spin, or you can have the difficult safety of objective truth. You cannot have both. The entire industry fights for your attention in the final stretch. Controlling the first 80% of your journey allows you to dismantle information asymmetry and prioritize long-term equity over marketing spin. This has been Confidential Remarks.